Howdy, Scott in Colorado. Good morning. Boy, it's a warm day today, very warm. It's about 88 degrees here in northern Colorado. Yeah, I'm wearing a shamag. There's a reason for that. It's hot enough. You know, you say, well, how do the Arabs wear these things? People in the Middle East. Well, in the summertime, it looks like it's hot. Well, what you do is you get it wet and you just throw it around you. And you can protect yourself from the sun and such. That's made out of cotton. But I didn't wet it, so it's too hot to wear out here. I'm going to take these off so you can see me. The reason I was wearing that was to make a point, which I will make in a second. People have been asking me, well, how can I protect myself? This is some ladies that have commented and talked to me. How can I protect myself? When I was a law enforcement officer, I would teach women's groups, women's societies, who wanted me to come and teach them how to defend themselves. And I would teach them some grappling, how to get out of simple holds and stuff like that. But it was fun. It was fun working with the ladies, and I think more than anything else, it helped to help the sheriff's office. I was under sheriff. Helped to get them comfortable with the police and communicating with us. We believed in community policing, and we wanted the citizens. They were our best hope for policing their neighborhoods, neighborhood watch and so forth. If they would simply report crimes and talk to us. Not be afraid. So many people are more afraid of calling the police than they are in dealing with a threat that's at their door, which is crazy. There's nothing more fun than driving, to a scene of an in-progress call, a burglar in the yard, or a peeping Tom, or somebody that was in the house. A burglary in progress, and going in that place, driving fast to get there, exceeding the speed limit massively, with lights and siren going, getting there, catching the crook, a guy burglarizing or beating up on somebody, and beating the living crap out of him if he resisted. You don't get to do that if he's not resisting, but I'm exaggerating a bit here. But you have to use what force, reasonable force, only that force which is reasonable and necessary. I used to tell people, they'd ask me, well, do you like police work? Do you enjoy it? And truthfully, it was a love-hate relationship. I loved it and I also hated it because there's a lot of garbage and crap and politics that goes with law enforcement. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone nowadays. Not anyone. I discouraged all my kids. They're all adults now. I have 14 grandkids, but I discouraged all people when they said, hey, I want to be a cop. I'd say, no, you don't. You really don't. It's not worth it. It's not worth the emotional baggage. But people would say, well, do you like being a cop? And my kind of a joke response was, are you kidding? It's the only job that they actually pay me to get in fights and drive fast. Yeah, I am an adrenaline junkie. A lot of cops are, but it's not an ego trip. If you get into law enforcement, and this is off topic, but if you get into law enforcement because it's an ego trip for you, buddy, get out. All right, go find your ego trip someplace else. Take up surfing if you live on the coast, or scuba diving. You can have all the ego you want in that. Hopefully, it won't get you killed. Bicycling, mountain biking, competitive sports. Go ahead and have an ego there and say, hey, I'm cool. Like Clint Smith says, if you want to be cool, take an ice cube and stick it underneath your armpit. All right, get over it, grow out of it. Okay, let's go to the subject I was talking about. I'm going to title this Be a Hard Target. All right. Women are asking me, how can I defend myself against an attack? Well, unless you've got a firearm, the great equalizer, the peacemaker, it said that God made all men were created equal. God made all men equal when they're born. He equally loves us. All right. He's no respecter of person. But Samuel Colt is the one that, now I've forgotten the quote. Put him on, now I can't remember it. Samuel Colt didn't make them all men equal. I can't remember the quote now, sorry. Maybe you'll tell me. Tell me in the comments because my brain just went dead. Too hot out here. Anyways, how can a woman defend themselves without a firearm? unless you've got tons of training and tons of real world experience, you've been in the military, you've actually been in fights, not that you've just been trained. Okay, just because you're a cop, you went to the police academy, you've had years of training, doesn't mean you're worth squat in a fight. All right? You've got to have been in fights and lost fights, or had some help to keep you from losing the fight, or come very near, okay, or got interviewed and saved your butt. Okay, sorry, if you're female, there's very few. I've only met 2 female cops in my whole life, period, that were worth anything in a fight. They had to have backup. A lot of times they would just freeze. Sorry, I can't teach a woman how to defend herself. You're just not strong enough. I mean, you're going against an ape, okay, a man who's so much stronger physically. All right, they have the aggression. They have this, generally have the interest to get the skills, and they have the plan in place. Even if they're untrained, you're simply outmatched. I've met small officers who, yes, they could defend themselves quite well, but they took wrestling in high school. But yeah, they could be overpowered by a guy heavier and bigger than they were, particularly if they didn't possess the necessary aggression. Let's talk about, okay, how can you defend yourself if you're not allowed, if say you're British, or anywhere, somewhere in Europe or South America, you're not allowed to possess a firearm for self-defense, a handgun. Well, you know, it's there's not a whole lot you can do other than make yourself a harder target. All right? Excuse me. If I am downtown and I've got this hat on, for example, all right? I've got this around my neck, or I've got a guns type t-shirt on, okay? People might think twice, okay? Think that, hey, maybe this person's a shooter. Okay, maybe this person's ex-military. I don't know, a person who looks like me. If I'm wearing a suit and a tie, and I'm downtown, all they can do is guess in my experience. If you have facial hair, we're talking about girls here. If you're a guy, you've got facial hair, maybe that's a protection. Is facial hair an affectation? Of course it is. It's just appearance, right? How I cut my hair, is that an affectation? I suppose so. I like my hair short, so it's easy to maintain. That's an affectation. That's another video. But anyways, if you're female, all right, if you're walking downtown, walk with another person. If you happen to be alone, all right, and some people are they're kind of shady, or they're on the corner, cross the street to the other side. If they make eye contact, look at them, all right? Look at them right in the eye. Don't look away like you're intimidated. Don't be intimidated by them. Okay, I was downtown. I was going down to the local athletic club, and I was headed down there. I went and got this haircut, and I had to walk several blocks, like 3 blocks. And this isn't it's an older area of downtown, and it's near a homeless shelter and so forth. And so there's some there are some shady people hanging around down there. And this one homeless guy was on the street at the crosswalk, and I had stepped right in front of him, and some vehicles, a bunch of vehicles had stopped at the stoplight. And one of the guys was in a pickup, and he was pretty rough looking, and he's got his arm out and his window down, and apparently I thought he was staring at me, and he says, "What are you looking at?" I looked at him, and I thought he was talking to me. You know, of course, when he makes a comment like that, and he was giving like this evil eye to what I thought was me at first, and it turned out to be this homeless guy that was just behind me. He was kind of staring at him. They were doing this stare down thing. All right, he goes, "What are you effing looking at?" And he's swearing at him, you know, "You want a piece of this?" And you know, all this crap, being machismo. He's about to get his head beat in, and I just ignored him. You know, I almost said, "I'm looking at you. What's your problem?" You know, but I wasn't going to approach him or throw throw gasoline on the fire. You know, you just ignore idiots like that. People are brain dead. I mean, he's looking for a fight. He's got a chip on his shoulder. He's arrogant. And he's, pride cometh before the fall. I just walked on. I thought he was talking to me at first, and then I walked on and then looked behind me and I realized he was talking to this homeless person. I'm not going to take the bait on something like that. I could have easily, said, "What are you talking to me?" and been all offended and, all be uppity and arrogant and puff my chest out. And that's just stupid. Don't do stupid things at stupid places with stupid people. All right? If you go to bars, sorry, I personally think you're foolish. I'm not going to call you stupid, but if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. You're going to do what you want to do. I can't influence you, but don't be surprised if you're injured and you have an incident occur. If you hang around in dark corners late at night, don't be surprised if you have something bad happen, okay, to somebody else or to you yourself. Don't be dumb, all right? Don't visit places where your risks are higher. When you go into a restaurant, all right, where do you sit? I'm sorry, but I cannot sit unless I'm facing, I won't sit any place. I won't take the booth. I said, sorry, I won't take that table. I won't take that booth. And I have to always position my wife so that I'm facing the door and I'm in a corner and I can view everybody that comes into the establishment. I've always done that. Even before I was a cop, I just need to be aware of my surroundings. I've always been aware of these things. I think from living in Ireland during the war-torn period, during the troubles over there, I learned that you have to be smart. You can't be stupid about these things. How you dress, your demeanor, how you behave. Do you act all shy and afraid to look at people? Stand up straight, okay? I tend to slump. I got a messed up back, fused in the neck. I tend to slump, especially when I get tired. The back starts to hurt. Move this back a little bit, sorry about that. And I tend to slump and I don't really realize I'm doing it, and then it hurts even more. But anyways, stand up straight, look people in the eye, all right? If they address you, talk to them in a bold voice, all right? People call me a quiet talker. I didn't always used to be that way. Most people in the United States don't have a volume control, okay, on their mouth. I learned volume control when I lived in Ireland. Went over there when I was 19, lived and worked there. And people in Ireland, when you have a conversation on a bus, the conversation is only between you and the person sitting next to you or the person you're addressing across the aisle. And it's only loud enough for you to hear. It's not for the whole bus to hear. We were always embarrassed in the summertime when an American got on the bus. We could always tell. Particularly came across this in Dublin down there, and it was always embarrassing to me because everybody on the bus instantly knew when an American got on board because their volume was so high, and invariably they were commenting, "Oh, I've never seen cars this small. Look at the size of their truck. The streets are so narrow. Everything in America is so much bigger and better." And oh my gosh, the arrogance was unbelievable. Guys, it's just different. It's never going to be the same. It's just different. Different is good. All right, you want everything to be the same? They have smaller streets. They're older. They don't have new streets. Okay, you go to London or any old town in London, or in England rather, or Britain or Europe, their streets are very narrow. How are you going to get a big honking lorry, an 18-wheeler, through those streets? You have to have smaller trucks, all right? They can build bigger ones. Sure, they can buy bigger ones, but you can't deliver your product. It has to be smaller. Smaller is better. Gets better mileage too, okay? It meets their needs. Get over it, Americans. Okay, what was I talking about? Being a hard target. No, I don't go around wearing body armor, okay? When I go downtown, I just don't see any need for it. I know a lot of people are buying a body armor. I wore it every day that I was a police officer working the streets because it was required. It was department policy. And it was department policy when I was undersheriff for my deputies. They were to wear body armor every day. We didn't want an officer getting shot and perhaps losing his life because our policies were lacking. Besides that, his wife or girlfriend is going to sue us if their husband or boyfriend dies because we didn't have them required to wear body armor. Officers get shot. I don't expect you to go around wearing body armor. Let's talk about terrorism. People are so afraid of terrorists. You hear about terrorism almost every single day. if you listen to mainstream media, which I don't. You look at this is a little off topic, but that's where my mind goes. It's a little off topic. Your odds of being hit by lightning, there's 52 people killed on average, about 52 people killed a year, and you have to use a 20-year average in the United States by lightning. Your odds of being killed by lightning are approximately 5 times greater than being killed by a terrorist in the United States. So are you spending a lot of time, if you're a United States citizen and you don't go overseas, do you have to spend a lot of time worrying about terrorists? The media would have you worry about it all the time. The government would have you worry about it constantly, 24/7. Why? Terrorism is great for the United States government. It's great for crony capitalism. Oh my gosh, now I'm going off subject so far. I should probably make a video about this. War is big money for bankers, for crony politicians who line their pockets with money. It ramps up the industrial military complex. It helps the economy. It'd be so much better if we mind our own business, wouldn't it? All right, Syria, the whole thing over there, it's all about controlling the oil and gas production. Who has access to it? Who provides the gas and energy for Europe? Either the Soviets or the Allies. That's what it's all about. That's all it's all about. It's all about money. Why was Halliburton, Dick Cheney? Oh, jeez. I didn't mean to go here. Sorry, guys. If you don't know about this stuff, you need to open your eyes and find out what's going on in the world. Yeah, you should be worried about terrorists. Yeah, right. I'm really concerned about lightning. Get off the dang mountain. All right? Don't go out in the field there during a big honking thunderstorm. All right? Seek some cover. I don't worry about terrorists. I don't worry about terrorists at all. All right? People, this is getting off topic, but people who worry about being attacked by terrorists, I mean, your chance of walking into a corner market or a liquor store while it's being robbed are much, 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 much higher than being attacked by a so-called terrorist. Worry about protecting yourself from the corner drugstore burglar or robber, okay, or the grocery store, or being burglarized at home. Most burglaries occur during the daytime, folks. All right. Television would have you think that they occur during nighttime, during dark hours, but it's more dramatic and scary if it occurs during the night. Guess why burglars don't burglarize homes at night as often as they do during the daytime? Because people are home at night. All right. And also, guess what? Are you afraid of the dark? Burglars are too. They're scared of the dark. They don't know the backyard. They don't like the unknown, so they burglarize the houses during the daytime when they can see the cars are gone. Okay, people leave their garage doors open, and they can find out. They can knock on the door, find out whether you're home or not. Lock your dang door. All right, lock your doors on your car when you get into your car. All right, if you go downtown, go with a friend. Be aware of your surroundings. Look around. Get some training. If you do have to fight, you go for all the marbles. This video didn't go the way I wanted it to, but maybe you'll find it of some value. If you're in northern Colorado, drop me a line. I'd be happy to provide some training for you, some pointers to you. I can meet you if you want to enable you. Prepare yourself. Don't think of yourself. You know, I see, this is the other thing I wanted to address. People become victims at some time in their life to some kind of violent incident. And they believe that it's an aberration, something that is just a lightning strike out of the blue that they weren't expecting. Well, these types of people are often, this thing happens to them over and over and over again. And they continue to think, well, it happens to everybody. Well, no, it doesn't happen to everybody. You are targeted, okay? An aggressor will target you, and if you didn't push back hard enough when they are aggressive toward you the first time, just like a bully will, okay, they will target you again because you're a soft target. Don't be a soft target. Be a hard target. Do something about it. It's not an aberration. It's because you're soft, okay? Don't become hard-hearted, okay? be a harder target. You can still love everybody. Great. I trust. No, I have trouble. I've got PTSD, and I really don't trust anybody. I used to trust everybody until they gave me a reason not to trust them. Now I have a tendency to distrust people, and I just am careful, much more careful. I'm much more aware now. Anyways, if this is helpful to you, great. I hope it is. That's the only reason I do these. Nobody's monetizing. I'm not making any money off these. YouTube won't monetize pretty much anything except for maybe mountaineering and climbing videos. Pretty much anything that I talk about, which enables people. If you don't see an advertisement or commercials in any of my videos, I'm not making a dime. I haven't made a dime yet on anything on YouTube, and I never will when I make these types of videos. Be safe, guys. Think about it. Get some training. Think about what you would do. Go to active self-protection and watch these videos. Watch the videos that guys makes and see the errors and things that people do wrong, the things that people do that are right in defending themselves. Be careful, be safe, and say your prayers. Talk to you later. Bye.